Black Beat. Black Beat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bully TV. Today I do have the guest here, the president of the Librarian Association and also the vice president of the association. They are here today after the event to speak to you guys. So we will give them some time so that they can talk to you. Any one of you first.
My name is obviously Harry Atokonian. I'm the president of the Librarian Association of Arizona. It's an opportunity to be on Bully TV.
Yes. I'm Miriam Juliet Solomon, the current vice president of the Librarian Association, and thanks to Bully TV for having us.
All right, guys, I will just go straight to the question. Any one of you can answer. What was the total budget for the area Valentine's Day Unity Ball? What was the total budget for that ball?
Oh, that's a very interesting question.
I mean, you guys had a ball. What was the total budget? You don't have to be exact. You can estimate how much it was. If you be exact, that's fine.
I can go over it.
Yeah, I think the vice president was sole the overseeing of the program, so she'll be the best person to address that.
Okay, yeah. Great question. So, for the hall, we were charged $2,800, including like a $500 security deposit. And then we also were they were gonna charge us for like the decorational pieces, like the centerpieces, the chargers. So we decided to purchase those, like neutral colors, for the organization, and that way we could reuse them. So we spent around $1,500, if I'm not mistaken, on those decoration. And then for the food, we were close to $1,300 to like 1,500 ish. And then we had little expenses here and there, you know, throughout the event. So I would say about eight.
A little lower than that.
It's
Between
six, 7. Yeah.
So the total budget that you guys spent on the whole event was about 6,000-7,000. Is that what you say?
Don't quote us on that.
Yeah.
We don't
No, I mean I'm not quoting. I mean, what's the total budget? Because I heard $2,800 for the hall, $500 deposit if I'm not making a mistake,
Right.
and then for the food, almost $1,800,
and then the
15.
drinks as
and then the
well,
drinks. So
$1,200-$1,300.
$1,200,
So it's somewhere around neighborhood between $6,000 to $7,000.
Okay.
And then the
All right.
decoration.
So, Mr. President, this question is directly for you. Bola CV saw your post in the area chat room group on the 18th of February 2024, where you said you agree the program was not perfect and there were mistakes. Would you care to tell us why you think it was not perfect and what was the mistake?
I mean, because we're not perfect human beings. We are ordinary people, and even as leaders, we make mistakes. And planning a program in about 3 weeks after we were elected took a lot of courage to do that. And for me, I believe that if a group of committed people come together, there's nothing we cannot achieve. And so all I needed was to have few committed members of the community come together to commit themselves to the preparation of the program, and that's what we got. And so I thought that the program was great. I thought that Liberians assembled and celebrated love and celebrated unity and togetherness. Uh, I like I said in my post, my message to the community, we made some mistakes, and we've been able to learn from the mistakes that we made. For example, the serving, I thought we did not do well in terms of serving the folks as fast as we wanted to do that, making sure drinks are available, especially on the VIP tables, as fast as we wanted that to happen. And that was primarily because there were insufficient volunteers to get the food out as fast as possible. There were insufficient volunteers to get the drinks out as fast as possible. And so I thought that if we have more volunteers making themselves available, the program will have been near perfect. Even though we're not perfect people, we don't hope for a perfect program, but we have been close to perfection if we had the needed support in terms of volunteers and staff. But I want to commend the few Liberians who made themselves available, did extremely well to ensure that that program was successful.
Thank you. Madam VP, do you agree with the president?
Yes.
She disagree with each other.
Remember, Bullet TV is only raw. I didn't take it out.
We do have moments where we disagree because we are
I mean,
different.
but what he just said, do you disagree with him?
Yes,
Or do you
but-
agree?
Yes, I do agree with them. The time was limited. We had a limited period of time to plan the event. And then secondly, I think it was also due to the fact that it was our first event. So we still have people who supported us and others who did not support us during the election. Some people are still, kind of sitting and watching to see how this administration will go about, having events. Are they really serious? Let's see how the first or second will go. But so we do have people like that in the community, and I'm also one of those people. Like I like to see, hey, I want to see. I always want to see some kind of little result before I, apply myself to something. So this event was like letting the community know that we're ready to work. We're ready to be engaged by them. We're ready to commit, and we just went with it. And I think it was a really successful program. For the most part, it was.
Thank you. How many committees were appointed to take care of this program? May I ask? Both of you, anyone you can answer. How many committees were appointed?
So we had committees within committees, but the overall committee or the overall mother or umbrella committee was the office of like the director of planning and implementation.
Yeah, and how many committees total? Because the reason why I'm asking this question,
Right.
and I'm going to come to the president for that. I asked a specific question about the red carpet,
Right.
and of course, the president mentioned certain people, which
Right.
I'm going to come to him for that.
Right.
That were part of that committee. And then you had the cooking committee. So what I'm trying to say, how many committees do you have? Like, for example, the hall committee, how many committees?
So that's what I'm trying to break down, like, from the head down. So we have like the director of implementation
And who was in charge of that?
planning. We had director of planning and implementation. That was Mr. Edwin Moore.
Okay.
So under Edwin Moore, he has his wonderful and amazing secretary, who is Tenema Masakwe. So she directly worked with him for this program. And then we also had his co-chair, right? His co-chair is Emily Ann. She did the flyers. She did the tickets, She was on it, she was really, really good as well, and I really, really like working with them. And then we also had like the chair lady who was in charge of the cooking, right?
Who was the chair lady?
Her name is Fifi. I'm not.
Yeah, okay. Fifi, I think I know. Fifi Wali,
Fifi.
I think
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So she's the chair lady, and she was in charge of the food. So Sis Titi and Sis Fifi worked together
Okay.
with the food. And then newly, like just recent, the president appointed a co-chair to Sis Fifi, who is Entebintu. I don't know, you know her, Entebintu.
Bintu Bedete,
Yes.
comma.
Yeah, so she's a co-chair, and she was also active with the cooking process. She did the cooking, and then we also had like the women empowerment leader, who is this Esther Bean.
Okay.
So
Now that you have named all these people, right?
So
As-
before you come in,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
just want to support what the vice president
Yeah, go ahead,
just
Mr. President.
talked about. So what was interesting was that the program was being organized while we're making the appointments. Like everything was just happening at the same time because we wanted to test our resolve, to see what we can do as fast as possible. So while we're appointing people to different committees and getting to know individual strengths and weaknesses, we needed to get to work immediately. And so we have one major committee that was responsible for the program, just a general planning committee headed by the women. And then we had, like the vice president said, an implementation team. That team is an ad hoc committee that we set up to coordinate all of our planning across different committees. So it was just one big committee, but we had subsections of that committee. So, like the vice president said, we had a cooking department. So she just talked about those who headed that. We had decoration, those who headed that. Entertainment. We took folks who just had that. So what we've been able to learn just from that program is that in subsequent programs will specifically, establish these subcommittees or these committees that will be designed for specific things. But this time it was one big committee, and they themselves just separate themselves and try to designate, responsibilities, cooking responsibility, entertainment responsibility, transportation responsibility, and stuff like that. So we've learned that it was a little complicated to do that. That's one of the lessons learned from this program. That going forward, we try to institutionalize those subcommittees.
Yeah, because the reason I'm asking this question, Madam VP, according to the Constitution, all committees are supposed to report to you and work with you because you are like the mediator between them and the president. Why wasn't enough people to attend to serving the food? Why wasn't enough people there to help decorating the hall? Because from reliable sources, there were only one lady doing the decoration in the hall on the day of the event with no help until she said she saw my post. One other lady said she saw my post in the WhatsApp chat, so she and her daughter went there to help the lady. Why was it only one? With all the head of the committee, you are in charge of every one of them. Why was it only one person in that hall to do the whole hall? And why was it not enough people? Like you can't have cooking committee, the people over the head. Did you ever check out with these heads to say, okay, I know you got people cooking, but who they're going to be serving? Who they're going to be decoration? Because that's not one per job. I saw even you're not supposed to be serving in the hall. You're not supposed to be cleaning table. Why was all that? Did they not check in with you before to do the final touches before the event began?
Great question, Mr. Ballet. I just want to start by saying as a leader, I think our responsibility is to serve. So if we didn't have enough people doing the job, I take no offense and actually, getting on the floor and doing the job because my job is to serve. That's one thing. So I don't feel offended by that at all. I can do it over and over again for the community. Secondly, yes, you're right. All these committees reported directly to me. And when I say directly, I was in each and every meeting. Yeah? I was in each and every meeting concerning this event. And like the president said, we had people were assigned based on our strengths and our weaknesses. And for the most part, we did not have the number of people that we needed. It's not that the people we had didn't do the job. They did do the job. And to answer your question about having one person do the decoration, that statement I think is not entirely accurate, because even you yourself, when I went to the hall that day, I saw you there. You were there volunteering your time to decorate. I was there. I was there also helping to decorate. Tenema and I, it was initially Tenema and I assigned to do the decoration. We bought those decoration online. The lady who came from Mesa, I believe, to help, she was also part of the decoration team. Sis Annie, yeah. She was also part of the decoration team. So it's not that she was notified last minute, you know. She knew about it. She was in our meetings. She called the morning before the event. She said she was going to come. So we check in with everybody. So she was actually part of the decoration team. I believe the only person we were missing, so it was Tenema, Emily Ann, because she's also very good at, you know, decorating and things like that. Says Annie and myself. That was our initial plan. But I think something happened that Emily Ann could not make it on that day. But then we ended up having the president join us. We had some members of the community help out with the decoration. The chairman of the board, Eric Tay, he also came, you know,
Oh,
he helped us.
so now, but point of correction, I just passed by. I didn't go to decorate. I don't know nothing about decoration.
But,
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
right.
when I passed by, right, it was due to Alpha Colley's request
Okay.
because there was one person there.
There was one person at the
One
hall.
person.
The reason there was only
So-
one person at the hall.
So now let's go to the serving part of it, because people can cook food. What I'm trying to ask them as a VP, people can cook food, but people got to serve it. Did you ever ask those here? Okay, I see we got everybody here cooking, because I saw you took your time, which I commend you to go to everybody that were cooking to see what they were cooking. But was there any question to any of the hairs to say, I see everybody cooking, but who's serving? Because people can be cooking in the kitchen and nobody outside the brain. Did you ever follow up with them?
Should I say yes and no at the
That question for you, I can't tell you what to say.
Okay. Yes, I don't want to call names or
A raw TV talking.
yes, it's Raw TV, but we're not calling names. We're not pointing fingers. We learn from our mistakes. You know, we plan on learning from our mistakes. We plan to strengthen the team. We plan to communicate more. Again, this is our first time working together, so you know there will be disagreements. There will be miscommunication here and there, you know, based on different reasons. But I'm not going to point fingers. The food was great. The attendant was, people came out to support. Everything we said we would provide was provided, including the VIP service. It was just a little late, is what I would say.
Okay,
But
thank you.
the event was great for the most part.
Mr. President, I saw you respond to Bullet TV when I asked about the Rare Carpet Committee, where you named and tagged some individuals to come respond to me. Where were they on the day of the event? But heard from reliable sources again that it was only you and Alpha Colley trying to set up and place the Red Carpet event, putting banner up and all that. That's not your job. Where was the head? You named Edwin Moore, you named several individuals, and Edwin Moore was the head. Where was he?
Black it.
What is my job?
The job is to be the head of the
Is
executive, the president,
to serve the community.
to serve the community and to
That's
appoint.
exactly what I was doing.
But then if your job is to serve the community, then why respond to me by asking people to come and respond to me? You
Great.
tag them to come and respond to me. Then why didn't you respond to me then?
Great question. So, and this is also tied to a similar issue you asked the vice president. Two points I want to make. One is that everybody who availed themselves, as part of the planning of this program, did extremely well.
Understandable.
They
But
committed
the
the
people you
time.
tag to come respond
I'm
to me.
about to answer that.
Yes.
If you give me a chance, I
Go
will
ahead.
respond to that. So everybody did extremely well. Was there a situation of inadequate human resource? Yes. There were very limited volunteers, very limited people who made themselves available to work. So yeah, at some point in time, there was one person doing a particular job. When some of us,
So
were
the people
aware
when
of
you
it,
tag, when you say but can't respond to me,
I'm
when you say
coming,
part of the
I'm
red
coming.
carpet,
when we got aware of it,
where were they?
people mobilized and do that. So what happened was that Edwin was transporting food, Edwin was transporting drinks, Edwin was helping with decoration. I was transporting food, I was transporting drinks, I was helping with the red carpet, I was helping with decoration. You saw me serving on the day of the program. I was serving drinks, I was serving food, I was, doing ticketing and everything. So the bottom line was that a lot of folks in the community did not avail themselves. We posted in all of the group chat. We're asking people to please volunteer. We had meetings, and in those meetings, we told them that listen, we can have all of the wonderful ideas, all of the great things we wanted to do. You saw the program. It was epic. You saw the program, it was outstanding. You saw the design, you saw the framework of the program. That program, the actual talking for the first time was about 30, 45 minutes. The rest of the time, people had fun. People, just shared fun and laughter, networking. It was a great program. I agree. There were some level of inadequacy, and it was only because of the lack of adequate staff. And this is why we want to even use this medium, to call on our people and say, the things we want to do can only be possible when all of us really come together. If we had 5 additional persons to join that team, to volunteer, what would the conversation we're having here today would not have had that conversation, because we had all of the good ideas. We had those ideas placed down. We got the plan. It was workable. We only needed the people to help us,
Thank you.
bring it to fruition. But that did not happen, and
Thank
that
you.
was the problem.
And Madam VP, is it true that there was some confusion about what menu to have for the dinner ball according to sources that were part of the selection as to what food to cook for that day? Because people who were part of it, they said there were confusion about the menu. Some people want to bring pepper soup, some people want to bring divinity, and you had different menu. Say you the head, say you here now, get you in the seat. They say true because it came from right there among the people that were playing to the selection of the food.
It's definitely a hot seat you have me in, because as a leader, yes, I do want to answer your question, but I'm also obligated to protect the leadership.
But this is no confidentiality business. Won't know
Right.
what the confusion about. You want to bring pepper soup or what?
If you tell me your source, if you can publicly tell me your source,
We don't give our source of Madam VP. I'm asking you the question. If you were asking me the question, that's different. Journalists don't give the source. You sitting there in the seat. I'm telling you from reliable sources that were part of the cooking committee. They said there were confusion as to what food to be cooked for on the
You mean
Valentine's Day ball.
disagreement or confusion?
There were confusion. Suppose right now as I speak, suppose I'm speaking to people.
I can answer that, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I can answer that. There,
Look, either way you want to tell me
I
whether
can
disagreement or but they say were confusion.
So I
I'm
can-
quoting that directly.
right, I can answer that. So this is what I would say. If you say we currently have people who are not talking to each other because of some crashes that happened during the planning of the event,
Now the plan of the event, the full part, the
The
cooking,
full part,
what,
right?
what to cook on that day.
I don't know of anyone who is not talking to their friend because we didn't agree on what kind of food.
Was
to
there any
prepare.
disagreement? Was there confusion
There will always be disagreement, right?
when it comes to what food to
This
cook?
is what happened. I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Thank
right?
you. That's one more year.
I will tell you what happened. So
Talking raw.
we had a limited time, right? Very limited time. We had about 3 weeks to like a month to plan the event. So what had happened was we had our very first meeting, our initial meeting. I called even before Edwin was introduced to the chat room, the director of implementation. So I took upon myself, created a chat room, brought all these women, these awesome women together, including Edwin, right? So we had our first meeting. So we had our first meeting. We had about 6 participants in that particular meeting. So then in the meeting, the meeting was great. It was very fruitful meeting because in that meeting, we were able to finalize on the date, right? We say, okay, it's going to be the 17th and it's going to be the 17th. Then also we discussed about the colors, just the major aspect of the event. So
Madam VP, did the people argue about what food to
I'm
cook?
getting to that now.
But you're talking about color, we're talking about the food.
No,
then.
I'm getting to that. You have to understand what happened or what led to that.
Okay.
So then we talked about the date, we talked about the colors, the decoration, the menu, right? The food. So when it came to the food, as we all know, food is very expensive nowadays in Arizona, right? So we, the young folks who don't really go out much, we thought we were trying to be considerate when it comes to the cost. And this was our first event, right? So
the cost when you talk about the $1,800 I was spending, or was it way more
at
than
the
that?
time, we did not have a budget.
Okay.
We didn't have a budget for the meal. We were just coming up with simple, easy, and cost-effective kind of menu, right? So we came up with the menu.
What menu did you come up with?
If I can remember correctly, we had plantain and fish gravy on that menu. We had some cabbage stew for vegetarian. We had fruits on that menu as well. We had some meat, kala, pepper kala, just finger food as well.
And some people disagree with that.
I'm getting there. So
Okay.
that's what we had on the initial menu. So then come the second meeting, right? Come the second meeting, now we had the director of implementation, and now we have more women who are more experienced when it comes to weather, what kind of foods do we prepare when it's cold or hot or whatever, right? So we had these women like Entebendo, very experienced in serving and, catering, right? And then we had people like Fifi, says Fifi, that was her first meeting with us, right? So she come in the meeting as the woman chair lady, and she's like, whoa, you guys already have a menu? The menu is not really adding up. It's not making sense. You know what I mean? So kind of from her standpoint and from her experience, she's like, is that what you guys want? And then Entebendo came, she's like, well, I think from my experience, we should have this, we should have pepper soup. But there was not really a disagreement. We were just like, okay, we were thinking about the cost, but if you guys want to make adjustment to the menu, you guys want to change things around, that's fine.
So you told the pepper soup out?
We did have pepper soup at the event. There was pepper soup. So
really?
yeah,
I didn't
so
see
it. Yeah.
Mr. Blaze, is it a
Yeah.
pepper soup interview?
Yeah.
No, it's not pepper soup interview, but we're talking about the food and are bringing confusion.
No.
Alright.
I mean, there are disagreements everywhere.
All right, so that's where it came. One person was saying,
agree on what food
one
we
person was saying, no, we can't have this, we can have this, let's reduce it to this amount, and that's what you guys agree on.
I was one of the people who was saying, because I was more focused on the time, right? I was like, let's not spend too much time on certain details. Let's focus more on implementation instead of coming back to every meeting and trying to redo everything, because we don't have time. And if we keep redoing, we'll never get the job done.
Thank
So
you
there
for
were
that.
moments like that where I came in, I was like, yeah, let's just leave it as it is and let's move forward. But we did have pepper soup, and we all agreed to disagree, right?
Okay.
We all
Thanks for the clarification. Now,
Yeah.
this is Bullet TV as we conclude our interview here today with the president and vice president. I just have 2 final questions. Mr. President, any final message to the community as to what we should expect next time? Now that you particularly have said it was not perfect, there was a mistake done. Any final message to the community as to what we should expect next time?
Oh, I think the relationship we have, we have viewed ourselves to be to serve, to be the leaders of the community. In actuality, we want to serve the community. The community also has to avail itself. It's a It's a twofold relationship. All of the plans and activities and programs that we have, those things cannot be successfully implemented if all of us don't come together, if we don't have volunteers to get the food, to cook the food, to transport the food, to serve the food, these programs will not be successful. And so our appeal to the community is that when we are having these programs, it is only intended to reawaken the spirit of our community, to reawaken oneness in the community. And so we all have to actively participate. And that's what I want to commend the few members of the community who availed themselves in those meetings where they were back and forth conversation about how to make the program a success. And that's why when you asked the vice president that question, I was like, okay, it happens in every meeting, like every single meeting, there are disagreements. So, what is the basis of those specific questions? But every meeting we held, there are opposing sides, and people disagree to eventually agree and move forward with the agenda of the program. And so we want to thank those who actively participated. The program was a success in the reasonable short period of time that we had. There are more programs we have. We have the inaugural program coming up on May 3rd. Again, we need volunteers to help us make this program a success. We have the July 26th celebration coming up. We need volunteers to help us make this a success. We have the August 24th program coming up. We need volunteers as well. That program, we intend to do it in two zones. We also have, we'll be launching an essay competition for young members of the community to participate in a writing essay competition. Is coming up soon. We launching our quarterly lecture series in the community in the next few weeks as well. Again, we need participants. We need volunteers. People have to come and avail themselves to work with us. Until you can do that, we cannot reap the benefit of this administration, of this leadership. We want to do these wonderful things. We want to make this community second to none. But it cannot happen with us alone. The community has to participate. If they don't come out to support these programs, to volunteer, we have this same conversation on May 3rd after the inauguration. We have this same conversation on July 26th after the Independence Day celebration. So I want to thank those who made themselves available. There were other folks who donated. We'll be posting most of these out on the website, so we have an archive of contributions. We'll recognize these people who are contributing to the community. We'll document their contribution, and we'll recognize them at the appropriate time. We also have a Mother Day program we're trying to plan, where the men of the community will serve the ladies on that day. We have special mothers and Mother of the Year and all of that. So a lot of good things are in store for the community, but we also need the active participation of our people.
Thank you. Madam VP, the final question and the same question for you. Any final message to the Liberian community as to what to expect next time?
Yeah, absolutely. So even for myself, this is new, it's somehow new, and I've learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to learn. Just understanding the community, understanding that people come from different backgrounds, different religious groups, and that we are all the same because we're from Liberia, but at the same time we're different in our ways. We're all different. So I've learned a lot, and I look forward to learning more. And I also want to say a very big thank you to all the amazing women who work with us. If it wasn't because of them, those few men and women who stood by us, it could have been a different story. It absolutely could have been a different story. We could have been saying that this thing was an epic, failure. But because of them, it wasn't bad. It was a good event. And so we just want to appreciate them, and we look forward to working with them. And for the community members, for those who are still hesitant about being part of the team, what we're doing is really not a paid job. Nobody's getting paid. It's all for the sake of our community and the love that we have for our country. So I do encourage all those young men and women to just come out, come out.
Thank you very much. So this has been the Bullet TV production. You heard the vice president and the president here. They told you people, the president said they were playing mistake, but you face it next time. So you will not get there. The vice president already make it. The vice president already make it clear you will not forward pursue business again. So it was good. You're more volunteer. They here for all, not for one person. So you heard them clear. I hope the message is clear. It is true what they say. We all have to come back to our community and help out. So they actually again will get another program coming again. We won't see the VP weapon play, the president mapping the flow. You all need to kind of help. Thanks for watching Bullet TV.